Hello, welcome to another one of my videos, Alien World, I'm starting to call it. And in this one, I want to do the complex beading compared to the simple beading, which is a simple row. And I call this one the complex one because I go back and pick up more beads. I must say, now that I've been doing the simple one, I actually prefer it, and I think it's just as pretty. But I still want to make a video of this one just for the record. So firstly, I need to select the beads, and I want to use these ones. I'm also going to get out my piece of cardboard. This is basically a cereal box, and it's a white one, so I'm very happy about that. I also need my yarn, I mean my cotton thread. So I need the right color. I was lucky enough to find a promotion on eBay. They were selling a whole lot of colors. Let me see which one. I'll take both out. They were selling a whole lot of colors, and they're super practical because at least there's always more or less one color that's close enough. I think I'm gonna go for the dark one. And I get my little container, put that in there. Next, I want to get all these tails out of the way, and I need my little Tupperwares. I need one of these guys. Let me take two. I'll take one for the top as well. Okay, could actually clip this one into place. Let me do that. Every time I make an alien, if I may say so, I'm getting better at it, learning little tips and tricks. That should do the trick. Okay, so I need my bead needle, and I'm going to start off by measuring a length of cotton, which is along the desk. I measured yesterday, so the desk is 80 centimeters, and then so it's 80 centimeters, and then I double it. Cut off the end, put that aside because I'll need it again. That's the tail end of Storm Eunice outside. Yesterday it was battering really hard. Okay, thread that, pull it all the way down to the end. So that's the end, and then just pull all four to the end. Okay, going to start on my right, alien's left. I'll be working on the first, so here, let me get the, first of all, start off getting the lights right. And I can zoom in, tilt it. There we go. I'm starting off on the right hand side, and I'm going to be working 4 rows. Each row will use up all the yarn that I have. So let's start. We're going to start by doing what I call the simple row. It's going to spread out. If you see, it spreads out there. Put out, I cut that off. Go back on myself. That's not holding. Go back on myself again. And it's holding. Cut that away. Pick up the strands and put them in the dustbin, because sometimes they end up in something else. So I'm happy with that. Now the beads. I want to use these ones here as a mixture, because I have the orange in there and I also have purple, but it's more the orange that I'm going after. I could add in the green if I wanted to, because then the eyes would be green. Get one of my little trays. I want to make the simple row one color, and you'll see afterwards why, because it does help if one doesn't mix the beads up for the 2 different rows. So the simple row, I'm going to make oranges. So I pick up a whole lot of oranges. I need at least 10. I don't think I'll need more than 10 for this row. Just try and get as many as I can onto the needle. Okay, that's good enough. Put them onto my work surface. Whoops. So I am going to be working down. This is the decrease. That's just straight knitting. But I'm going to be working down that row there. So I just need to make sure I know which row it is. Let me just put 1 in place. I'll be working down. So I'm not going to go back into the same hole as where I was. Problem with this light. I want the light to be over my hand. I don't want to go back into the same hole. So I need to be basically the size of the bead I need to go in. And then I come out about 2 knitted stitches away. Careful not to create a knot. It's the first time I'm actually using a stitch marker to hold my yarn. So if it becomes too much of a pain, I'll take that off. Now I'm turning the work around, because I like to work away from me. And I also know now which one I'm working along. So I'll pick up another bead. This was nice to have the beads ready. I don't have to go scratching in the container. And I come out about 2 knitted stitches away. Give it a nice tug. Pick up another one. Go in about the length of a bead. Come out about 2 stitches away. As far as possible, don't catch the knitting behind in the wrong way. Like if I catch the edge, I won't be able to sew it up later, so that can be quite a pain. So just keep on using this finger here to open up the knitting at the back. Go back in, come out about 2 stitches away. I try and come out where the stitch is, because I find the beads, if I'm actually going right over the hole of a stitch, the beads actually snuggle into that hole. There we go. This is a stocking stitch, but I'm sure that you recognize that as such, but just in case someone who doesn't knit is wondering, maybe they crochet or just haven't come across the stitch because they're new to knitting, this is called stocking stitch. It gives this beautiful flat surface on which one can add beads. I'm working along the edge of the decrease. So it's twisted a bit, I can see how the cotton has twisted. Now I need to untwist that. Here we go. I can add one more. Sometimes I'm very messy. I have beads all over the place, especially if I'm doing a lot of them, and I just enjoy the colors and everything. So I'm not always this fastidious about keeping my workplace clean. I can go crazy and put beads everywhere, and then a day or two later clean it all up. So that is what is called a simple row. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to work my way back, and I'm going to be adding beads in between, but not one bead. I'm actually going to be filling up the space. Sometimes, for instance, here's fairly small, I'll probably put 2 beads in there, but this one here, there's quite a big space that I've left, so I'll put 3. And then I will be coming down again, but what I will be doing is, and you'll see, I'll actually be pulling down the thread that holds the beads in between. So that's why I called the complex one. I'm going to be using, let me take these little guys, a little container here, just put them into there. The kitchen is full of wonderful containers. This is a vitamin container, but if one looks around, this is not called recycling, this is called repurposing. A friend of mine said, she said, you don't recycle, you repurpose, which is quite true. I'm going to be choosing greens, so I'm just going to go simple. I'm not going to choose more than one green. I'm just going to choose these ones. And the reason my beads are mixed is, first of all, I had far too many colors, and I've mixed them into families, obviously size, but also colors, because I make bangles out of metal, and I put them into a spinner, so they spin the beads onto the metal rod, which is basically florist wire, and it goes really quickly. But if I mix them up like that, then they spin on all the different colors. It's very pretty. So I'm going to start off with one green here before the orange. Maybe 2. Some of the beads are longer than other ones. See these ones, these dark ones here are probably quite short. So the length of the bead also needs to be taken into account when I'm putting them onto the needle, because two short ones will make a different length than, for instance, if I had two long ones. So I try and guess. I look at that gap there and I think, well, I probably need two short ones. Just in that little gap there. I don't want it to bulge too much. I'm happy with that. Now I've got quite a big gap, so I will take a long one. Look at that big long one. Take a dark one and take another one. You can even, if you really want to, first for practicing, you can go like that. But after a while, it's going to be more or less. I mean, the wool is the wool is quite stretchable in some ways, so it's bulging a little bit. But when I come back, I'm going to be pulling that down. Put two in this one. One light and one dark. And then, as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm threading through the orange. And that's why this is a beading needle. It's got a very small head. I did show it in my other video, but let me show again, just so that you know. Whoop. Sorry about that. It's a size 9. I believe it's a size. It's a size 9. John James. I bought them in South Africa, so that's the price tag. Size 9. Those are size 10. They're even thinner. But they do make a difference. You can use a sewing needle, but as I said in my other video, the problem with the sewing needles is they're not long enough. These are fantastic because of the length. You can pick up your needle, you can thread in and out. There's lots of things you can do. You can put quite a few needles, quite a few beads on at a time. So let's get back to this. One's initial investment doesn't have to be very big to start beading. You need some cotton. You need a packet of beads. Choose a size. I think this is a size 8. It's easier. The small ones, a size 11, are horrible. They are so difficult. The head size is really tiny. Okay, I think that's too many on there. I mean, the whole size, not the head size. The whole size is too tiny. So I tend to avoid them. The size 6s are very big. I've got a bottle here of size 6, but they're too big for this project. Yeah, this is size 8. Oops. They do jump. You will find beads everywhere. They're little escape artists. Now this is a big space, so I'm going to put 4 in here. Yeah, I think that will fit. Sorry, I went off screen. Need some more beads. Probably 3. Squeeze. 2 big ones in there. So that is the completion of a complex row. Now you will see why I suggested using one color for the simple row, because, and you see I've only got a little bit of thread left. So I'll literally be able to work my way down and that's it. What's going to happen now, get everything out the way, we can find those beads later, is I'm going to turn the work. I've come through the orange. Now the orange already is anchored from the first row. The greens are not anchored. I'm going to go into the back. I have this finger here. He's gonna get pricked, unfortunately. I'm gonna go into the back. Ow. And I'm gonna come up underneath the green. Not to the side, but underneath. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold the cotton over, and on this side, so I came out on that side, I'm going to go in on this side and try and go in the same place as best as I can. And then what I'm going to do is pull this, and it pulls it down. Then I'm going to come out. I'm coming out just before the orange. Ideally, you would do at least 2 per section. So for instance, this has got 3 beads. I want to come out there and there at least. This is going to be, this little alien, like all the other little aliens, are going to be distributed. There it's separated. I don't want it to separate. I want it to try and be in the same place. Sort out the thread afterwards. Okay, pull it away to the back of to the end of the needle. They're going to be distributed among the friends of my daughter. She hangs her little alien on her handbag. He also has beads on. And you want this thing to be quite robust. Same time, I've got to keep this open. Go in, come out, and go in the other side of the green and pull it in. See how my decaf is it warm? Oh, it's the right temperature. I have a sip. It's lovely. Where did that come out? That wasn't the right place. So yeah, it's getting used. The cotton's getting used up quite quickly. I don't even know if it's going to make it to the end. See if I turn it around. So whereas I'm over there. Because I'm not threading beads, I'm literally just sewing this way. So this is actually quite comfortable. make sure I know where I am. Playing chicken with the cotton here. Will I make it or won't I? Note to self, for the next one I must just make it 5 or 10 centimeters longer. I still have to work it away, and it has to be the length of the needle to work away. I have one more. That is very, very firm. So even if you wanted to do this technique on a handbag or something, yeah, literally look at that. So I'm going to run it all the way up, catching the wool on this side. I don't want to peek through on the other side. I must go as fast as possible because I won't be able to stick it in again. It's going to be one time and one time only. Okay, that's fine. Where are my pliers? I really did play chicken with that, didn't I? And zoom out. Light is in the way now. So there we go. That is how one does a complex row. 27 minutes. So it's about 25 minutes a row. These ones I time myself. It's 13 minutes a row. So you've got about an hour to do these ones here. But this one you need to put yourself aside at least 2 hours so that you can do it properly. Obviously I was also sorting out the beads and getting my little workspace ready, but yes, in 2 hours you could quite successfully. Now the way that I decreased the last row, I can only really do it either going up halfway and then disappearing, or you need to close off at least down to there, your antenna, and then because in that way you can complete the row. A critic said to me, because I show him my little things, he says, where did this one go? And I said, well, I did it while it was still open. So now what I do is the last one, I do just one section and then I close it and I do the rest. But it all depends how detailed you want to be. I mean, you don't even have to do all 4. You could literally just do 2, the ones in the front like that. So he has these 2 strange things coming down his head. There's yeah, there's different options. Let me see another one. Because it's all a progress. This is, each time I do it, I'm learning something. I can't even tell you which are the early ones and which are the later ones. Also I did there, just disappeared him to there. But if someone is going to be scrutinizing it, they'll say, well, why didn't you fix it up there? It's because I didn't close it. So yes, there are ways of doing that. This has got 4. There he goes. This one goes all the way up. So that one was obviously done when it was closed. This one's got crazy colors. Look, all the different greens in there. So thank you very much for watching. I don't think I need to explain any more because you get the general idea, and then the video will just be very, very long, as most of my videos tend to be. But yeah, you can see how the complex one is done. If you want to work with a shorter piece of cotton, because I used a long one, then you can just do the first section and then add more cotton as you go. Because it's always a trick of making sure it doesn't knot in on itself. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and little aliens,